If you clicked on this video, you're probably considering a move to the Indianapolis area. So today we're going to go over the top 8 questions that I get asked by people just like you that are looking to move to Indy. If you're new here, I'm Cameron Geisman, and I love making videos like this for people just like you to help you make better decisions when moving to, from, or around the Indy metro area. Today's video is going to be packed with helpful information about the Indy area, and make sure to stick around to the end as I'm going to give you some additional resources that have really helped others like you that are looking to move to a new area like Indy. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. By far, the most popular and open-ended question I get from people looking to move to the Indy area is, where should I live? In order to help you figure this out, the 2 most important things you need to nail down is your budget and the type of lifestyle you want to have here in the Indy area. Do you want to live in a thriving downtown area, maybe the suburbs or the rural area, or someplace else? Do you want to live in an area with highly rated public schools and amenities? Do you need to live somewhere that's close to maybe the proximity to a job or something like the airport? These are all things to consider, as whatever the answers are to those questions will help determine the correct area for you and your family. Again, once you have your budget and lifestyle once nailed down, the great thing about the Indy metro area is that it is a huge area and has lots of options for whatever housing needs you have. Another popular question I get from people looking to move to the Indy area is, should I rent or should I buy? Now, you may think that just because I'm a realtor that I tell everyone that they should buy, but that's certainly not the case. Buying a home is not for everyone, and depending on your scenario, it may not be a good time for you to buy. When I'm helping someone like you that is new to the Indy area, I always suggest a couple of things. First, I suggest that you talk with a local lender here in Indy so that you know your budget and if you qualify for a home or not. As a side note, if you need help connecting with a local lender, send me a quick email and I can connect you with our trusted local lenders here in Indy. Secondly, I suggest that you travel to Indy over a weekend and stay maybe in an Airbnb in an area that you may think you would want to live in. The reason this is important is that it doesn't matter if you are renting or buying. Wherever you decide to call home, you need to make sure it's an area that you like and not just a place that you read about on the internet that strangers say is amazing, or you've watched this video and I've said it's amazing. You need to experience it in person and come to your own conclusion. And even if after that weekend you still can't narrow down an area you want to live, then perhaps renting for 3 to 6 months or even 12 months is a better option, so you have time to figure out where you want your next home to be. The third question I want to answer today is, should I buy a resale home or build a new construction home? Now, this is going to be a personal preference, and probably most importantly is dependent on where you want to be. Most new construction going on in the Indy metro area is further out, kind of in the outskirts or the surrounding suburbs. But there are also new homes being built in the downtown area as a part of a regentrification effort. So if living in either of those areas is definitely where you want to be, then building a new home could be a great option for you. There are a lot of new home builders that are building great homes around here, along with some that have some great incentives like lower interest rates than maybe a resale home, lower closing costs, and design center option packages that could save you thousands of dollars. With that being said, the main downside of building a new home is it is typically going to be more expensive to build new, and you might have to wait 6 to 12 months until your new home is ready. So again, either buying resale or building new is a personal preference, and I have loads of experience helping people like you with both options. Another very common question people ask me is about property tax here in Indiana, and this is a really good question, as I've learned that other states assess property tax differently than Indiana. We just had one that moved from California. So here in the state of Indiana, if you own your home and you live in it, also known as owner occupied, then your property taxes are about 1% of the assessed value of your home. But there's a caveat to this that I will address in a moment. If you're an investor and own a rental property and rent it out here in Indiana, then your property taxes are about 2% of the assessed value. So right there you can see that if you own a rental in Indiana, your property taxes are going to be double compared to an owner-occupied home. So one more caveat to this general rule is 1%. Caveat is a hard word to say. Caveat, caveat. It's like potato or potato. So one small caveat to this general rule of 1% property tax for owner-occupied homes and 2% for rentals are referendums. City or township referendums can add a few $100s to your tax bill annually, but this will vary depending on the city you live in. But again, generally speaking, if you want to buy a home in Indiana for, let's say, $400,000, then your annual property tax bill should be around $4,000. The next question I get a lot is, what kind of family-friendly activities are there? I love this question, as I myself am a mom of 3 boys, and I know the struggle to keeping them entertained and making sure they have enough activities for them to use up all of their energy. This question is also kind of age specific, so I'll try to address with activities that can be enjoyed kind of by all ages of kids. The first thing that comes to mind is the Children's Museum in downtown Indy. It's one of the best in the country and has all kinds of super cool fun things for kids to do. And if you like museums, then Conner Prairie is on the north side of Indy, and it is a living history museum with tons of activities for kids as well. We took our kids there all the time when they were little. In downtown Indy, you also have the Indianapolis Zoo, which is amazing. And up in Hamilton County, there are more than 100 free parks where you can explore nature at your own pace. There's also the Geist Waterfront Park in Fishers, where kids can spend the day playing on the playground, building sandcastles, or swimming in the lake. A question that is popping up a little more often, not a surprise because of baby boomers, is what kind of healthcare options are there in Indy? A long time ago, there were only a couple of major hospitals in the Indy metro area, but now nearly every city has not only their own hospital, but they also have urgent care centers, pharmacies, and etc. The major hospital networks here in Indy are Community Health Network, IU Health Network, Ascension, St. Vincent, Eskenazi, and Kindred Healthcare. So in addition to all of the major hospitals in the area, there are also a lot of satellite doctors' offices for nearly all of those providers. If living close to a specific hospital or doctor's office is important to you or your family, then that's something I can definitely help with as well. What about childcare? That's a big question. We see it all over social media with people moving in. What are the childcare options in Indy? Well, the good news is there are a lot of childcare options here in the Indy area. Everything from in-home childcare to early learning and pre-K, and many more options in between. Now, even though my boys are past the age for needing daily childcare, I do have a lot of clients like you that have this need as well. And it's important for me to have those kinds of resources available. My best suggestion is to start by searching on childcarefinder.in.gov and childcareanswers.org to begin learning about all of the childcare options here in the Indy area. And after you've found a couple that you like, I would suggest calling them and also visiting them in person to make sure you're comfortable with the environment and the people that will be taking care of your little ones. Okay, so the last question I want to talk about isn't any less important than the previous ones. In fact, it may be the most important question that most people have when exploring what living in Indy would be like. And that's, what is the weather? I get this question all the time. And to get really specific, most people want to know 3 things. How hot does it get in the summer? How cold does it get in the winter? And is it humid in Indiana? So let's address the first one. Yes, it does get hot here in the summer. July is our hottest month, and the average high is about 84 degrees, and sometimes it will get into the 90s. Those days suck. Then add in the high humidity that we typically experience, and your heat index is close to 100 degrees. And I wear my hair like this because it's nasty outside. Those are the days I'm very thankful for air conditioning. On the flip side, it does get cold here in the winter. January is typically our coldest month, with lows averaging about 18 degrees. Now, these past 2 winters, we've had several days below 0, and it is bone-chilling cold. And as far as snow is concerned, Indianapolis averages about 20 inches per year, but I can say these past 2 winters, it's been closer to like 6 to 8 inches of snow, even if that. It's generally pretty sunny here in the summer with the occasional rainy day, and usually overcast and gray in the winter. We've had a lot of gray recently. Spring and falls are typically mild in temperature with lots of rainy days mixed in. And one other thing to mention as far as weather goes is allergies. Allergies can be pretty rough here in Indiana. I have them, they suck. We have lots of grass and trees here. So if you have sensitivities to either of those types of pollen like I do, make sure you have your allergy medicine ready. Okay, so now for the additional resources I promised you at the beginning of the video. If you want more information about living in the Indy metro area, I suggest you give these other resources a try. If you want to know more about things to do with the kids at Indy, go to indywithkids.com, as there are tons of resources on events, eating out, a preschool guide, summer camps, and more. It is a treasure trove of information. Another favorite resource is watching Indy Now or following them on the socials. They are Central Indiana's most watched lifestyle show, where they talk about all things going on in and around Indy, and Ryan and Jillian make me laugh every single episode. You can also see past shows on fox59.com/IndyNow. If you want to know more about living in Indy and the best things to do around Indy, check out @YourLifeInIndy and @Do317 on Instagram. I follow many city-focused pages as well to keep up on what's happening in each city. Feel free to DM me on Instagram and I can point you in the right direction. Of course, I have no affiliation with any of these resources. I just like to follow them and the information they have about the area. So let me know in the comments below what questions I missed. I'm thinking of doing kind of a follow-up video to this one, but I need your help. Put 6 more questions in the comments below that you want me to answer before you move to Indy. I hope you found this video helpful, so if you did, please do me a favor and click that like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos about living in the Indy metro area. If you're looking to make a move to the Indy and surrounding areas within the, say, next 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, I'd love to be your real estate agent and trusted Indy resource. Feel free to call, text, or email me. My contact information is below. Oh, and one last thing. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead and click this video here or here, as I think you'll like it too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.